Hi everyone.
Hello.
Evening. Hi
Hey
Lavanya, how are you doing?
Marcio. Hey Jagan.
Can you
Hi.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you, Raj.
Okay. Okay, how are you doing? How's Chennai? How's things? And how's
Good.
country?
Good. Everything is good.
As
It's
they say,
it's
well,
nice
you are
climate.
a psychologist, so you won't have any issues.
Really. I have a lot of issues.
That's,
How are
that's why you
you?
became a psychologist, right? There
That's
are a
right.
lot of issues that you became a psychologist. Fine, fine. Okay, thank you for spending time. It's good catching up after a long time.
Thank you.
So we are going to also friends watching live from of the citizens. I'm Trevor and I'm doing my PhD from Virginia Tech, US. And Lavanya is a psychologist based in India, Chennai, and she is pursuing and almost finishing a PhD from Monash University, Australia. So thank you so much for taking time. And yeah, we'll be dealing with mental health issues, especially with relation to youngsters and late 30s folks uh, and how we can navigate this life that we are forced to now and what are the best practices or anything stories and things you have, Lavanya. So yeah, take it away from here and give us a little bit of context about why do you think we should care about mental health at all? Because in the cultural context like India and especially South India and broadly South Asia, there is no concept especially about mental health. It's seen as a taboo or, you should, oh, it will go away, like just wait
Uh,
or it's
uh,
seen so much as someone is possessed by demons or whatever. So yeah, please give us a context about why we should care about mental health. Yeah. Thank you.
okay. Okay. So first of all, thank you to you, and thank you to of the citizens for inviting me and
Sure.
um, to give you a context of mental health. Why is it important? Okay, we need to look at it like this. We have a body, we have a mind, and as much as the body is important, the mind is important. So we have been tuned in our culture not to take care of the mind that much. But interestingly, our culture or India has
Mm,
contributed to the study of the mind so much.
sure.
But I think with a lot of oppression and colonization and just a lot of disturbances throughout history, we have kind of lost that touch to understand ourselves and to be able to you know be able to solve our own problems. Simultaneously, what is happening is we are also facing a lot of changes. Two kind of changes. One is the middle class is growing, although the gap between the rich and the poor is also increasing, but the middle class is growing. So we are also beginning to have more access to mental health, especially with social media.
Hmm.
Now, culturally speaking, we have been tuned to be dependent on our parents. So that's one of our biggest problem. Okay, so parents, they have this feeling that they know everything and they know what's best for their children, and dependency this kind of a dependency has not allowed us to grow, or not allowed us to get out of a particular kind of a shell to really take care of our problems. So you have two ends to it. One, we either shut down completely, or we try to really overpower everyone and everything, because we see that as a way to what do you say, transformation or growth.
Or
So
compromise.
we really have to strike a balance. And of course, without mind, what can we do? If we don't have peace in our mind, and if we don't have a peaceful sleep, or we don't know where we are going, what is our purpose in life, if we don't have any answers to these kind of questions, of course we're going to be very distressed.
Hmm.
And I think a lot of things are also changing. So that's the transformation that's taking place in the society, in our society. The transformation being we are reaching out to each other. So that's really important. We are reaching out to each other, and we are trying to solve our own problems. So isn't that good? That's really good. So so just what we can do, you can just ask me questions, and I can answer to the level best I know. Thank you everyone for joining. There's so many people joining. Hi Jagan, I saw your hi. Hi
Hi
Varsha.
everyone.
Hi Ashwin. Hi Sada. Hi Hari. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Please shoot your
Yeah, thank
questions,
you.
Raj.
I'm not shooting the question, but inviting into the dialogue. So, anyways, that's a great way to enter the conversation. So, you gave us so colonization is a context, the oppressive, some of the oppressive parts of our culture is a context, and this idea of dominating everyone who's literally your, younger, even if they are one day younger to you, they are like someone to be
Yeah,
dominated. So yeah,
yeah.
domination gives us a context to enter this realm of valuing mental health. So how do you think in everyday walks of life, as a young woman, as someone in an urban context, metropolitan context like you, and someone who's also interacting with people from different walks of life. So on in a everyday life basis, how do you encounter these issues? Something that's happening on a daily basis. So give us context or some experiences, and how did you deal with that? And that I think can give us something
Okay.
good.
So I think it'll be really nice if we understand what is domination and what is submission. So domination is really the need to overpower the situation. Actually, we think we wrongly think that the other person is trying to overcome the person, but they're actually trying to overcome the situation. The situation creates some kind of stress in them, and they are not self-adequate, because nobody who's self-adequate wants to overpower somebody else. So they are working from a place of inadequacy. So when we are younger, when we're in school or even doing our college or whatever, we get very agitated if someone talks overpoweringly to us or whatever. We get agitated. Some of us get agitated. Some of us go into a shell. But over the time, we realize that if we realize that they are actually the opposite person is working from an inadequate position, it can be anybody. It can be our parents. It can be someone in our academia. It can be someone in our workplace. Then what happens? We learn how to manage our emotions to that person, towards that person. Then, depending on the situation, do we need to uh, deal with the problem? Do we need to deal with the issue, or do we need to deal with the person? So we need to come up with that answer. Who do we want to deal? What do we want to deal with? So oftentimes what happens, it becomes an ego clash. I can just take a leaf from my own experience. Very recently, I had to deal with someone who was constantly giving me negative comments. No matter how much effort I had put into my work, they just kept saying that it's rubbish. They actually used the word rubbish. So I had spoken to my therapist because I was having a very tough time. So she said, "You don't have to work with him." Well, that is a choice, but then okay, fine, so I choose this person and I leave this person because I can't work with that person. Then what if the other person is also like that? So it really depends on our situation, what resources we have. So I made a choice to really deal with that as best as I can manage my emotions. And when I began to manage my emotions, his words really stopped having that much of an impact. But sometimes not all actions can be dealt in that kind of a way. So how do you build a group or a community of people? what is the appropriate step in that kind of a situation? Do we go to a committee? Do we talk to a committee and tell them this is our problem? So there are several, it all depends on the context. Now let's say the context is in the family. Okay, we can't deal with someone at all. We can't deal with their anger, we can't deal with their overpowering. What should we do? So in my profession, so many people come to me, different kinds of issues. Some people have closed their minds and hearts so much they can't really tell their parents or whoever it is that this is what I need, this is who I am. So one thing we need to do is really strengthen ourselves. What is our strength? What am I good at? I should learn how to put out my thoughts. A lot of us are not very confident in that. So starting la sorry, I went into Tamil because I think a lot of people from different regions. So we don't know how to put our thoughts out. Okay, so we get very jittery, or we get sad, we cry, we shout in anger and all that. I think the best approach would be to write down, take a break, go to your room, or go take some space out, write down what is that you want. And we need to realize that we are different human than the other person who's trying to overpower us. So oftentimes what happens, we get confused. We believe what they're saying about us. So then when we believe what they're saying about us, we think we are not worthy. But we need to really think, we need to accept the fact that the other person is different from us. I am a separate individual. I need to write down what I want, and I'm going to tell whoever it is that very politely, because you don't want to add fire, you don't want to add fuel to fire. So this is what I want, and this is what I will be doing. No one who's trying to overpower you is going to take it with a smiling face. Okay, no problem. Of course, there's going to be fight back. But that's how we build character, and that's how we build confidence.
Great. That adds another important layer and context to our conversation. So, okay, let's say we are in another context. Let's say a student or someone who's working in an MNC is transferred to another place. Let's say from Chennai to Delhi, or vice versa, Delhi to Chennai and abroad, so on. So, in different cultural contexts, people come with different understandings of what you are talking about, domination and submission and so on. So and add to gender, caste, and layers like that. So in such a context, how do you really enter into a conversation with someone who is always, as has happened in your case, want to put your worth down? So in such a context of intercultural communication and so on, especially like for me, let's talk from my experience. Like as a Tamil, when I went to Delhi, I did not have much of a understanding of. I knew to talk in Hindi and all to a good extent, but I did not really know what was happening in the culture. So, in such a context, what's the way out?
Okay. So, if language is the barrier, then it really depends whether we can use another language and stand our ground in a very assertive way. See, not everyone understands the language of politeness. Sometimes we have to be really strong, okay? Because there's always this confusion, and when the conflict is happening, or when there is kind of a turmoil, we ask suddenly this question comes to: should I make this worse? Should I make this situation worse if someone is not really listening to me? And if that person is your equal or in your own position, this I'm talking about in an MNC situation or an organization situation. Two choices we have. First choice is this is why I'm saying the dynamics of the situation, lot of factors are very important, because I don't think we should be stupid enough to create a ruckus. See, because always in an organization setup, there'll be two kinds of people. People who are looking at what's really happening, and in that group there will be people who really empathize with you. So you really have to know that those people should be on your side. So how you handle this situation really maturely is, it's very, very paramount. So we have to be assertive. At the same time, you got to tell them that what is happening is not helping the situation. If we continue to make the situation about the other person, they keep getting triggered. Okay, now how can you do this? This takes practice. It cannot happen, just overnight. I remember I was just joined an organization and I was a fresher. I finished my master's project and joined the organization, and my senior, it was the first day of my work, and she shouted at me in front of two departments. I think there were about 50 people or something. She just shouted, and I kept quiet. I didn't react. Now, if I had shouted back at her, the whole scene would have been really bad. So I took it. I bit my lips, and I told myself this is not the right behavior. So I keep quiet. Why should I go to her level? But the next thing I did was this was many years back. So I shot a mail to her and my boss and my vice president. I said, next time you shot, I'm going to slap you. That's not the way you deal. Maybe I will not do that do that now. Later on, we became really good friends, but I would definitely tell her that that's not the right way we deal with situations, and make the other person aware that you need respect. See, sometimes what happens, these ego trips, they are just ego trips. These differences that is man-made, language, culture, caste, race, these are man-made differences. But if we have the knack of reaching out to the person beyond these differences, they would be our friends. So I think it's also that we get caught in these differences. We also get caught, psychologically, we are already going with defensive, behavior. We already have made up our minds. Okay, whites, they're going to be bad. Okay, blacks are going to be like this. I'm telling in an international context. Okay, we have gone through that. I've had my own assumptions, but only when I go beyond those assumptions and make a connect with the person. So for that, I need to know what the other person needs. What is it that the other person needs? We don't have to use this as a tool or a technique, because some people just use it as a very manipulative technique. What that person wants, I will give, and then I can be his or her friend. I'm not saying like that. I'm saying, how can you be a building block for that situation? So automatically you become the leader. You see the strength you're getting there. It takes time, but automatically you become the leader, and the person who's all very trying to be powerful, blah blah blah, that person becomes weak. Okay, I have seen this happen, because that my colleague, we became friends later on, because somehow I kind of reached her heart, and after that she thought, okay, fine, you're not any threat to me. Other person is also coming with a lot of assumptions about people. Okay, she's brown. What kind of person is she? She's coming from South India. What kind of person is she? Or other way around. These Hindi people, what they don't understand our culture. But is there a possibility? Sorry?
I said you don't look brown though.
Yeah, my
I just
behavior is, black, being black and being that, all behaviors combined. Yeah, so, so we also have assumptions. But if we are able to hold patience, that is so paramount.
exactly.
And that really turns around the situation. That's what I've learned.
So yeah, it's great because
One
in
one
the Indian
moment, Raj. One moment, Raj.
culture,
Arun Kumar wants to clarify something. Yes, Arun Kumar, please. What's your question? Arun? Okay, we and somebody else was talking about whether this is being recorded. Sada asks whether the session is being recorded.
After the live ends, it will go into the Instagram feed. Yeah. From there, you can
Okay,
watch.
all right. Okay. Yeah, we can carry on.
Yeah. So, the main thing I learned from what our conversation so far is you don't have to try to control the person. You have
Yeah.
to control the situation without trying to mess with the person. So that's an important thing. And another layer I want to ask from you as a therapist and also as someone who has traveled also to other cultures, how do you build confidence? That's the biggest thing I have faced in my life and also have seen in other people's life, especially people who are so talented but
Yeah.
cannot even articulate or speak out their issues in multicultural context, like wherever it is. So how do
Mm.
you learn to build that confidence? You have so
Okay.
much to say, you have such so much knowledge, but we suppress ourselves so much. We have these all these assumptions about ourselves, as you are saying, from the culture, and we internalize it. So in this such a loaded context of confidence building, yeah, give us some tips, please.
Okay. So first, I would say, anyone listening to this, and we all come from different backgrounds, so I think it'll be helpful to all of us. First thing is make a checklist of what you are good at. Because we are mostly in autopilot. We don't pay attention to what we are good at because we have all these voices. Psychologically, we have these voices, whether it is from culture or whether it is from parents, whether it's from upbringing, whether it's from school, because school and college at least it's more open and more accepting, but school can play a very negative role if you've been abused in school and traumatized by teachers. So that is where this whole I'm not good starts. I'm not okay. That starts there. So what we need to do is first believe that you're okay, that you have strengths. We've got to really believe that. We have to take that leap of faith and let me see what I'm good at. So then I make a list of what I'm good at. Okay. I'm good at talking, or I'm good at math, or I'm good at speaking, or I'm good at music, or I'm good at understanding ethics, whatever it is. It can be anything. Now, first, the next thing you got to do is I will communicate the way I know. So, what you're really saying is when you say that I don't have confidence, what you're actually meaning by that is you are comparing yourself with somebody else. That's why you feel a lack. Am I right?
Yeah.
We automatically compare ourselves with, but the truth is 90% of these people are not bothered about us. 90% of these people don't know what we are good at. And in an organization or an institution setup, everyone is dependent upon each other.
Mm.
And every person has so much of inadequacy. How do I know this? Because if you're a consultant and you're working in an organization, you do training and team building, whatever it is, whatever, we know, we can see it, that everyone's got a problem.
Yeah.
Okay? Everyone's got a doubt. So know for a fact that all people have problems. So that makes us very peaceful. Okay, I'm not the only one with a problem. All right. So now, if and luckily we have English, we can communicate in English in most places, I think, at least in the context that you are talking about. Then, then learn to talk it out. See, we can't really force someone to open your mouth and talk. It is something to do with fear. Okay. Now, you have to validate yourself. That is why I said make a list of the strengths. Because we know what we are not good at all the time. We beat ourselves for what we are not good at. I'm not good at this. I'm not good at singing, or I'm not good at maths or whatever. Just a moment. So what if our colleague wants to use by making sympathy? What if comfortable in telling lies to you, apologize every time and continue repeating, breaking your trust? Okay, now this kind of a situation, Arun, you need to know that you can't trust that kind of a person because for whatever reason, they're not keeping up their word. If we are dealing with someone like them, then we need to record. When I say record, write down what is it that we are discussing, and please make a difference between friendship and being a colleague, because in a organization setup you are not required to be a friend all the time. You are a colleague because you're being paid, you are an employee. So make a record of what is it that you discussed with the other person. So another thing is, learn to have a conversation in front of others with this particular kind of person, because then at least another person knows what's happening. Is that a okay answer for you, Arun? I hope so. Yeah. Raj, have I answered a bit at least?
Yeah, I also wanted him to sort of see your response and pause a little bit.
Okay.
So, confidence, yeah, it comes from validating yourself and not from, and people are not bothered about you 90% of the time. So give us some either a recent example that happens also in a very collective level with things happening in
Mm,
the media and so. For example, media and technology is playing a big part in also stressing people out because of things like TikTok, Instagram, and so on. I mean, people are putting out an image which is not real. Like they do all this makeup and so on. That's good. That's their choice. But it also forces other people to act like someone they are not, right? So in such a context of acting like someone they are not. So this is the context I'm talking about. So and it forces people into undue stress. So how do we navigate this? So this is becoming a problem I have been observing.
yeah. Okay. So we need to know that a lot of things happen subconsciously and unconsciously. We are not conscious about it. Even the most confident person, even the person who can, talk in front of millions of people, sing and dance in front of millions of people, will have their doubts from time to time. Okay, and so we need to know first of all that we are vulnerable, uh, but there's nothing wrong in being vulnerable. What happens is we need to see where we are actually slipping down. So for that we need two things. One is we got to ask ourselves, where is my locus of control? See, all these things that you're asking me is something to do with the emotions, but at some point we got to bring our mind in, our logical, rational element into the picture. Emotions are very powerful. Okay, so I imagine I'm spending about 10 hours on social media every day. Okay, so I'm constantly bombarded by images, constantly bombarded by different things. But if you have a purpose in your life, that's why I always share that if we have a purpose and our purpose is not scattered, then what happens? Whatever we see, we can use it for the betterment. Okay, so we are not overwhelmed by whatever we are watching. So for that, locus of control. And second is, who am I? Who are you as a person? What is you? Are you that other person who's doing something? Okay, you're not. Then something attracts you to the other person. Whatever we see on media, what is it that attracts? Is it their confidence? Is it their clothes? Is it the way they behave? If it's something good, learn. There's no harm in that.
Sure.
Okay, because if we start viewing everything as negative, there is no end to it. There is no end to, because 24/7 everything will keep affecting us in a wrong way. Okay, so I think it is like a fine, it's a fine balance that comes with time. So who are you? What is your locus of control? The locus of control is within you. What, by getting attracted to something or someone, what am I trying to do? Because including me, everyone, it's not that we are saints or something like that. We don't have or whatever desires. We love to do certain things. There's really nothing wrong with that. Okay, but is it aligning with my purpose? I think that question will really help and clarify certain things. Raj,
So I want to ask a very personal question. So
can you hear
personal
me?
as in, yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. The question from Ayan. Oh, I'm just going to read that question. Can you also suggest some advice, especially in the wake of pandemic and work from where? Oh my God. Why it just keeps going away? Okay, is it so? Okay. So the person is talking about conflicts because of the stress involved in this whole pandemic situation. Do you have some time to talk about all this? That's the question. I would say that make some time to sit and have a chat. There is nothing a heart to heart chat cannot solve. Everyone's human. So most of the time what we think is, why should I take the lead role? Or why should I suggest this? Because if I suggest this, then no one's gonna like it. Or a lot of self doubt questions based on that kind of a thing. I would say that not everything we need to go to the management, because everyone's busy and all that. Why don't we just have a tea and just discuss? Okay, this is what happened. We're all stressed, so let's just have a chat and just see how people open up. So sometimes it's all about letting the steam out. Once the steam is let out, there's little more calmness and clarity. That's what I would suggest. I've suggested that to few people and it has worked. That is why I'm suggesting it now.
Great. I had a not too much of a personal question, but a little bit. So I have always seen you like I see many people from especially South Indian culture like Tamil culture and all. It's sometimes we are prone to, as you're saying, we can be pushed to see something negative or see positive, right? I'm not
Yeah.
generalizing, but in a in majority of the context. So I have seen you as a person looked up to you as sort of someone always bubbly with um, being so positive about things. So how did you learn this? So how can people like me and
So
youngsters learn this?
Raj, I'm not able to. I didn't listen. I couldn't hear the question properly.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. Now I can.
Yeah, I was asking majority of the context, like especially Tamil culture, not to generalize, but to a good extent in my experiences and also seeing others' experience, it's easy to become, or see things that are only negative, but not celebrate positive things at times. So from you, what I learned was to be, reclaim this positivity and always respond to situations in a very calm manner and also very bubbly manner, like jovial manner. So how did you learn this? So how can also youngsters like me and others learn?
Okay, okay. I'll try to say that. So first of all, when you're depressed, be depressed. Accept that. Because I have been horribly depressed. But at that those times I have chosen not to speak out to people, and because I sensed that time I needed for myself to heal myself. Because I know that if I get out and if I converse, maybe I will just get angry. I have gotten very angry. It all depends upon how much someone is irritated or something like what the conflicts basically. But mostly I have told myself that I need to take my time off and I need to spend some time just with myself, the quiet lone time. Now people can say a lot of things, she has become so quiet and she just goes off into her zone, but I think that's required. That's number one. Number two, I have just put myself in a lot of difficult situations. So my nature is this. So I don't know. Maybe that's the thing. But we can do it. What I unconsciously do is I see what's really nice about that situation. So when I met with the accident, which was like really life changing, I also found it very funny that a split of second, everything changed in my life. Everything changed. So that was also very profound to me. So what we can ask is, what is the underlying lesson in whatever is happening to us? What is the underlying reason this is happening? And after all, we have like one life. I don't want to live it sadly. That's it. Oh, I don't know. Maybe we have different lives. I don't know. I'm just saying that we have one life. I don't know whether we'll come back. Maybe we will. I don't know.
Maybe next life I will be Lavanya, you will be Trevor. Who knows? Just kidding. So, so that's a deep thought. So to see even smile in the most unfortunate of moments or most stressful of moments, just also take time for yourself and take
One
yeah
more, can
take
I just say
yeah
one more thing? Sorry to interrupt. It's because also that when we have someone, for anybody, a friend also, who can help us in a difficult time, it is something really amazing. So for me, that will just seem like the sun has come down. you know it is so amazing that someone is there to help us out, and we often forget that even one person, they make life. We are so tuned to seeing the negative, because trust me, everyone, including me, we've heard horrible things told about us, like you're stupid, you don't know anything, you're useless, you're worthless, all sorts of things. Okay, you are selfish, you only think about yourself, you don't give time for other people. Think, put everything, and then put also really really bad words. All this I've heard. Someone asked me, okay, so this was after the accident. Someone asked me, I was really sad about my leg, and I was thinking, what if I can't wear this particular kind of clothes, because, and this person said, what's the point after this? What's the point? I was so hurt that it took me maybe 2 years for me to get out of that hurt. But that's the thing. When we are depressed, we are depressed. One way, a lot of people, what they do, no, if we feel bad, we try to mask that bad feeling. Bad, don't feel bad, don't feel bad, become happy, become immediately positive. That's not possible. We are humans. Okay, so okay, fine. So Rumi said that. Rumi said, where pain is, that's where light comes. So this is a bit of philosophy. It's not, maybe not psychology, but so we've got to really travel in that pain. And like, the layers, it just, so then you find out that not just you, but everyone has pain. So that was really freeing for me. It was not just me, and other people have it worse. So then the question is, what is your purpose? Then I realized that my purpose is to make others happy as well. And I can't make others happy if I'm not happy not all the time, but if I'm not a happy person, I
exactly.
can't make others happy.
So it's been a great conversation. We'll concentrate last few minutes on actual resources, accessible resources for people
Okay.
who that may be online or that
Yeah.
may be reachable via social media, whatever resources you think. So yeah, let's please tell us a bit about accessible resources for people. Yeah.
Okay. Before that, do we have time for just one question? Arun has asked another question. What is the best practice to be myself? Focusing on maintaining reputation or showing true colors naturally? Okay. Beautiful, brilliant question. Okay. So the fundamental mistake that we do, and not just you or not just me or not everyone is operating in that. Everyone's operating in that fear, the same fear. Should I be myself, or should I worry about my reputation? Very tricky. Okay, so I ask myself a question right now. Am I worried about myself, being myself, or am I worried about my reputation? So to what degree? That's the question. The whole beauty is how much you can be yourself and also take care of your reputation. And sometimes, and that is a call that we need to take, sometimes it is like, which is more important? There are two kind of situations. Situation A is, what does that work require? Does that work require you to be 100%? Or does that work require you to be completely somebody else and only your reputation is important? Then how much you should be like that and for how long? You can't be like that for a very long time. We all gravitate to ourselves. Okay, so then we need to make a choice. So I worked in a particular place. I didn't want to work there. I didn't like the place, but I chose to work there for 2.5 years. Okay, it was a very toxic environment, but every day was a struggle. So I decided that I want to be myself more than my reputation. But not taking care of my reputation has some negative effects, which at that point of a time I didn't want to, because my purpose was different. My purpose is my job. So then I decided I need to be in certain situations a little bit diplomatic, let the certain things go. But in certain situation I didn't. I was very stubborn. Okay, so I couldn't take it for a long time. So I decided after 2.5 years I'm not going to continue in this place. So we got to be courageous also, depending on our situation, because we work for money, we have a family and all these things. So meantime, what you do is build your strength. As we build our strength, we will know whether we can continue here or in a particular context or go somewhere else where we are more valued. When that happens, when we are more valued, we are in more balance. But we need to have patience and keep working on it.
Thank you, Lavanya. So yeah, let's come to the question of finish on this note of accessible resources for people who may be struggling with certain issues, but can easily reach out to resources. So yeah.
So first thing is whether we can talk to a friend. That's number one. Someone who we can trust and they can listen to you non-judgmentally. Because in some situations we can't wait to get to a therapist. Second thing is definitely get to a therapist. These days there are we can find therapists online. Instagram, everywhere we have therapists. So please make it a point. Please go to a therapist. Because we are trained to deal with these kind of issues. Going to therapy doesn't mean that we are losers. Going to therapy means that we need help. It was Elton John who I just saw that video today. He said three words that can save someone's life. I need help. So he lived apparently for 16 years not asking help. So after 16 years he asked help. I need help. And then it was so freeing for him. That is second thing. Third thing, suppose some situation and we can't go to therapy at all. There are many therapists who charge you on a sliding basis. Like maybe they charge some depending upon our affordability. And for some, I don't even charge for some clients because I know that at that point of time they can't pay. That's okay. So there are therapists like that. So seek them out also. Um, Third thing is, please, we can read materials. Suppose we are stressed, then read some material about it. What I can do to remove my stress. You think that we're having some kind of a mental problem or something like that. Get some knowledge about it. So by that time, you will have some confidence to go seek help from a therapist or a psychologist. Am I saying that correctly, or is it you're looking for some other answer, Raj? Because I'm not able to make it out.
Illa, I was very intently listening to you. So
Okay.
no, I was listening to you. So yeah, first go to a friend, and then seek out affordable therapists near you or even online, Instagram and so on, and read about at least basic literature, and um, you'll be able to post that resource if Lavanya is willing to share that at least in a sort of a post or something. So yeah,
Yeah.
end on something on a positive and note. Something you want to say, share, whatever quote, or let's end on that note of something
Okay.
positive
Uh,
you want to talk
yeah.
about.
Before that, Jagan, he's a friend of mine. Thank you so much for coming online. He's asked a question. So what he's saying is, okay, some people, when they are feeling bad or sad or depressed or whatever, they go into a shell, and others get worried. Why you not talking? Why you silent? So what can I do in that situation? Okay, something about depression is, although sadness. Okay, first we need to make a difference between sadness and depression. Depression is a very clinical terminology. Sadness is like everyday sadness. So first of all, we need to know whether we are sad or we are depressed. Both sadness and depression is a kind of a self involvement. We are preoccupied with ourselves. So of course others are going to get upset. Others are going to wonder what's happening. So give yourself time. Like prepare your mind. Of course you need your time. So say that, okay, 2 days I'm going to just take my mind off everything and I'm going to think about me. I'm going to think about what's happening to me. But after 2 days, I'm going to go give an answer to the person who is very concerned about me, because they are also in pain. See, this is how the cycle never ends. When you're depressed, it, others get depressed. A lot of us don't realize that. Okay, we don't realize it because we can't realize it. But when we talk like this, when we listen to someone telling, then it opens our mind. Oh, okay, fine, I need to change that. Then you can tell other person that, usually when I'm feeling sad or depressed or whatever, I take some time, but please don't misunderstand me. I will come back to you, and please keep up that word. The problem happens is some people, they never give us an explanation and they just go off. I've lost a lot of friends like that. They just go off the radar, and it is so hurting. It's hurting for them as well because they are locked up in something, but then it's hurting for the friend as well. So give some time for yourself and get back to the other person. I hope that is a good answer.
Yeah, thank you, Lavanya, for
And I
giving us
can
so
finish it in some
really.
positive note. That's what you wanted.
Yeah, yeah. I just want to say thank you, and it's so rare to see people being wanting to be of help for others. So yeah, let's finish on a positive note. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Love yourself. Love others. Love yourself. Yeah, that's no one's alone actually. No one is alone. We think that we are alone, but we have people all the time. And we need to break some barriers that we have. I would say that we need to focus on ourselves and build methods to reach out to others. And I think that like every day I feel, if like-minded people get together, then we can do like really really amazing things.
Yeah.
That's
Thank you,
what I
Lavanya.
want.
Love yourself, love others as well, and yeah,
Yeah,
take time to heal. See, try to smile even in the most stressful of
yeah,
times. And yeah,
it helps.
reach out to people, yeah, mainly for help. So thank you again to all the listeners, audience, and so on. Yeah, I hope we will get time again to talk to Lavanya. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, thank you so much, Raj, and thank you, Anvarul, and thanks to of the citizens, and thanks for all the participants and the questions were really really good. Thanks so much for having. Love you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
All right, bye.